Hi, I'm Wendy Uttley from the Down Syndrome Training and Support Service Limited. And we're based in Bingley, up in Yorkshire. That's my contact details there. And a lot of the things I'm going to show you, I'll probably refer also to our website, where I've got a lot of resources and training. You can sort of book through the website. So what we're going to talk about for 20 minutes is using visual resources to develop language skills. The reading skills will probably come into the next presentation. I think there's going to be about 3 presentations of about 20 minutes long. And I've surrounded myself with all sorts of resources because I want to just sort of quickly show you the different resources. Now, this training is usually done over half a day, so it's just going to be a sort of dip in and out with some of the things, but hopefully it's going to be useful to you. So using the written words, so using words in print, words that look like this, okay, is what we're talking about. And rather than sort of saying reading, I'm saying using words in print because I am using it as a visual support to help develop the speech, okay? And so what we're sort of saying we can sign really nicely. So a lot of the kids can sign really nicely, but it may not help develop the clarity of speech. So like, for example, I've got here vegetable. Okay, oh, sorry, see my signing really good there. The vegetable, or I'm going to school. So a child doing this would be indicating they're going to school, or doing this would be indicating vegetable, but they don't necessarily need to be saying anything. So what we're talking about is trying to get them to use the mouths a bit more and move away from using the hands, starting to use the mouths. So to do that, there's a couple of things we're going to be thinking about. One is that if they've been asking for something, let's just say they're going like this for a biscuit. If you just give them the biscuit, they don't need to use the mouths, okay? So once they're signing really readily, you're going to you're sort of pushing them for the next stage along. You're encouraging them to vocalize before you give it. And the bit that really helps with that is to pull it onto some written words. Okay, so in our early intervention groups, when they are signing, hold on, I'm going to keep disappearing, picking things off the floor. When they're signing biscuit, please, we move on to something that says biscuit, please, and then we're using our index finger, which is our reading finger, our pointing finger, yeah, our counting finger, and we're starting to the left to right, biscuit, please, and we're encouraging them to do that, and the child might just come out with something like pss, 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 but at least the beginning to sort of learn that this black and white squiggly stuff here has some sort of meaning, okay, and eventually that will move on, and we have the I want biscuit, please. Which is sort of a basic sentence, but it also can be signed really readily for the children that the speech isn't developing as well as it could be. Okay. So that's what this is about, is how we use words in print or the written word to help develop language. So making things in print, that's sort of saying any sort of thing that's visual, words in print, pictures, images, are permanent. Okay, they're not something you're having to hold in your working memory, and so it's helping to free up thinking space, which is helping support clarity of speech. Right, so if I was doing this as a full training session, we would go into in-depth into looking at how we can improve clarity of speech by doing this, how we can improve vocabulary by doing this, and how we can sort of try to increase sentence utterance and grammar by doing this. Okay, but what I'm going to try and do is all in one nutshell. So I'm just going to outline some activities that you can do, and they're very basic activities. And what I suggest is that you have a little bit of a box with a lid on, and you just get them out and you can just do them for 5 or 10 minutes every day. Okay. Now it may be that you've got some small pictures representing letters. So the ones that we use in our early intervention groups, I've got things like K, which I'll sign back here, K. And we've got okay, so we've got a visual pictures representing the letters, or if you're working on vocabulary, we've got the word card, frog there. Okay, so I've just got written there that we've got 4 pictures representing a letter. These could be sound cards, these can be word cards, anything that you're going to be working on. Okay, And there's a little bit of a discussion here because sometimes people get a little bit worried or concerned about the different visual representations. And if I just get out the different visual representations we've got for T, we've got the cued articulation T, we've got the BSL T, we've got just the normal standard T, we've got an ancient one, Letterland ticking test T. We've got the Jolly Phonics, you can see that there, which is a tennis one. Again, I don't like that because you're not being able to see the mouth. We've got the one that we use, which is the old Down's one, which is tap, and the sign is turning the tap on, and I tend to do it here. So any signs I'm going to do around my mouth because I want to draw attention to this. Now, there's lots and lots of different visuals there. I'm not changing what's coming out of my mouth. I'm still saying T. And children with Down syndrome are visual learners. So as long as we are ensuring that we are working with their strengths, visuals, lots of visuals, reinforcing the same sound, same speech sound or the same word. And then we're balancing it in the right direction. And in my experience, the children do not get confused by it. It's just that just have a little bit, maybe of a little bit of a worry that it's going to confuse them, but it doesn't. Okay. So you get yourself some word cards or some sound cards or whatever it is you're going to work on. And then we need like a post box. So this is just made out of an old shoebox or a new shoebox. Post box in it that have sticky back plastic. Some bean bags. Okay, you can solve them yourself, so you can buy some. You might want a basket or a bucket for throwing things into. A magic bag. This is something that we just got from a charity shop. Swing. Okay. Any sort of turn-taking game, and the one that we really like to use is Mr. Pop-Up Pirate. A small plastic figure, which could actually be Mr. Pop-Up Pirate. And things like a plastic bottle or something if you're going to play any spinning games. So there's a little bit of equipment you've got put together, and you can sort of, it lends itself to all sorts of little bits of games. So I'm going to whiz through the different games we're going to play and how we're going to help overlearn the speech sounds or the vocabulary. Okay, so games to play, taking turns with Pop-Up Pirate. So you've just had your tea at home, 5 minutes, you're going to get out Pop-Up Pirate, okay, and on the table, face down, you may have some speech sounds, you may have some words, you may have a mixture of those. You might be working on the speech sounds, so we're going to have just some g's, and we might have some words in there as well. So you turn one over, have a go with Pop-Up Pirate. The next person on the table, taking the pressure off. Yeah. Oh, frog. Have a go with Pop-Up Pirate. Okay. So turning the card over, saying the sound, saying the word, pushing something into Pop-Up Pirate. Eventually it's going to go twang. All right. If it goes twang straight away, have another go. But you're only going to play for about 5 minutes. So if you add 6 or 7 cards, it's enough. And just turn them over again and try them again. Okay. Covering the cards with bean bags. So you lay the cards on the floor, face up. You're going to cover them with a bean bag. Oh, the bean bag. Oh, throwing the bean bag to land in your washing basket or something like that. Okay. Next one, hide them around the room. Now in my early development group rooms, I have Velcro on the back and we Velcro on the walls. If you're playing at home, just go around the room and you don't have to thoroughly hide them. You could put one on the couch, one under the couch, one by the door, etc. And then we've got to go on a hunt. And every time we find them, oh, it's a k. Or we found the word frog for working on words. Okay, like I say, you may be working on a mixture or you may just focus on the new vocabulary. Okay, so let's just say this is a school topic here that I've got. Pyramids with the vocabulary to go with it. We may be working on the vocabulary for a topic at school, and so we may be hiding the word pyramid. What else have I got on here? Tutankhamun, scrolls or something like that. Egypt. Putting the words around the room, finding them, coming back, matching them to a picture or matching them to the same word or some fun thing. But it's keeping it fun. Okay, so putting them around the room. They're not there to be in a listening game is if you're using the speech sounds and you've actually put them where they can see them. You might just roll them up somewhere and you say, k, 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 and you're hoping that they'll get the K. So you can sort of modify in that game a little bit. Picking them out of a magic bag. There's my magic bag. In goes the sounds. Okay. And I'd sing my magic bag song. Magic. Sign with 2 hands. Magic. I'm just signing with 1 hand. Magic bag. Magic bag. What's in the magic bag? Oh, let's have a look. Oh, what have we got? Okay. Or, oh, what have we got? Frog. And then we might post that. We might just put it to one side. We might match it. Okay, depending where we are with our journey. Taking these into the bath. You might just grab a handful of them, take them into the bath, stick them, if they're laminated, sealed, laminated there, stick them to the edge of the bath, and then you've got your old squirty bottle, and we're squirting. Can you squirt, frog? You squirt. Okay, just playing games. Or you might have larger ones and take them out into the playground or outside. Placing them in a circle, getting your spin the bottle game. We all know how to play that. Making a line. Here's like Peter here. Here's one I made earlier. So this is a line. I mentioned a line there. I've got a line. This is a line I've just sort of popped together there. It's a k line. Okay. So let's just say I've got my plastic figure or my favourite teddy or doll. K, okay. When they're doing that quite readily, you can actually show how we're going to make the blend by actually moving them together. That we want the child not to say k, but we want the child to say ka. So you can actually see the blend rather than having to hear the blend. We've seen how we've blended it. Okay. Right, what's the next one on there? Making paths to focus on words. So it might be a path of new vocabulary and we're just going to walk across the room and stamp on those words. Or it might be something that's just pulling us into the pronunciation. We've got dog and duck there. That's quite tricky, is that? Guz and cuz and does and guz and things. And trying to focus on dog, duck, dog, duck. I'm going to get gog, gug, things coming out. Okay. And there's some other ideas, T and key and things. And then there's making books. Now, over the years, we've made lots of books and lots of lottos to focus on particular speech sounds or around little basic topics. And they're all on to download from our website now. They can all be downloaded from our website. Or if not, we tend to put them on memory sticks for people as well. So making a book to work on a specific letter sound. So for example, I've got a birth book here. Okay. So we've got the bird book, and then the first page has got b. We're going to put some sign with it. And then we've got a bear, which we can say and sign the bear. And then we've got the word in print, bear. And then we go again, b. And then we've got the picture, banana. And we've got the word banana. So it goes through a whole lot of vocabulary, and then we suggest to parents that once they're saying it readily, to take it apart and put the picture with the word first and the picture second. Okay, and then we have lotto boards working on the same things. Okay, so that's what that's saying there, available to download from our website. So those are the sort of things. Choosing words is worth just talking about. Which words am I going to use? Well, you know your child. And you may have been listening to them a week and you're aware that they're saying certain words, but they're not saying very clearly. So we might choose 4 or 5 words that's already in their vocabulary, and we're going to practice playing games with those words so they can practice saying them a little bit more. Or it may be there's some new vocabulary that you've been doing some checklists, or you've sort of everyday vocabulary. I always remember my son talking about this white square in his room. And it was his radiator. He didn't have the word radiator. So it's sort of right, we'll have some new words in there. Or it may be a speech sound that you notice they're not managing to get that specific sound. And yes, we're going to really work on that sound. So instead of just sort of saying it to them, we put in visuals in place and playing games with those visuals so that they can really, really over-learn it, over-practice it, but in a really fun way. So that's what all those games are about. Now, there's some ready-made resources by Down Syndrome Education International. There's 6 steps in a speech program, of which I'm just going to briefly show you these over the next 5 minutes, keeping an eye on time. So the See and Learn, and then there's a See and Learn language and reading program. Okay, so the speech program, let me just quickly. They have got speech sound cards, so they've got the picture of a pizza, and I've got a picture of a pea if I use it, and then I have a snake. They've got a picture of a sun. So they've got a whole set of sound cards, and then they have the instructions for using those. And so they're playing games where you are holding it up. It's just a listening game. Okay, we'll go through them. And then they're playing games where you're going to listen and get the right one. Okay, and then the other game is encouraging them to say the sound as well. And then once say we've got P and we've mastered P, then we're moving on to another kit. Sorry, excuse me. Told you that everything's on the floor. There's a second kit where you're blending, and so it might be that we're doing some things like P, R, and blending with the vowel. And then the next kit's along, there's 4 kits that are working on. If you see this one here, we've got some speech sounds here. Okay, I'm going to go for the B's or the D's. So let's say we can say B really easily. Right, we're going to work on then some vocabulary that is B vocabulary. Says. Yeah, so there's these word sound cards here, so I've got bird there. Okay, and then we're practicing. There's lots of activities in there to practice the words with the initial sound of B. And then the next one along might be S that we've mastered, so we're going to work on there. So you've got packs with quite a number of different sound cards, word cards in there, and you're going to dip in and pick out the ones you need. Okay. So that's the speech sound one. One that I want to give you a bit more detail of is the reading language one, of which there's 6 stages in it. That's the first one, of which has got 66, I think it is, 60 of the first most common words in there. Okay, so if I just grab hold of the one I've got here, I can quickly demonstrate here. It's got an instruction booklet, which is really quite nice. If I show you nice and clear photographs in there of what you're going to be doing with the children. It's got a record book, so it's very structured. And then it's got 4 activities, okay, using a very prescribed. You do the first 4 words and then you do another 4 words. So I'm only going to use 2 words because I've only got 2 arms. But let's just say the first activity, and it can be done from a very early age, okay. As long as the child's looking and concentrating, we can do this. So we're going to have the card face down, turn it over, and we can say and sign apple, and then we post the card. We can turn the next one over, we can say and sign baby, post the card. So that's your first activity. Your next activity, which is a little bit more advanced because we've got to be able to picture match, to picture matching apple on. Okay, and then we've got baby on. So we're going to do that for 4 pictures. That's that activity done. Every time you see that picture and you're saying, and you can be signing baby, we're associating what you're saying and signing with that picture, and we're learning that vocabulary. The next one is you're holding them up and you're saying point to the baby. So are they processing what you are saying? Now, hopefully the children are saying, understanding point to the baby, but you might have to say point to the baby. Okay, or you might be saying point to the baby. The aim is for you to say point to the baby, and they're processing that, yeah, using their auditory system rather than the visual system, and they're pointing to the baby. And then the last activity is you're holding them up, or you've got all 4 on the floor, and you're saying which one do you want? And you don't want them just to point at it, you want them to say baby or sign baby. So you're working on their expressive language. So those are the 4 activities there. So when you've worked through those, your next stage, let me just put those out of the way so I don't get anything knocked, is called first vocabulary 1. Okay, so that's first vocabulary 1. Your next one is first phrases 1. Change the names of them several times. So your first one is your first vocabulary 1, and that's your 60 common words that we've just been looking at. And then there's your first phrases 1. Okay, so it's an awful lot in there, and you're using the vocabulary that you've just learned in the first vocabulary 1 in very early reading books and things. Okay, so I've got one here, which is like the sleeping book. I'll just put you onto the first page. We've got Dolly is sleeping, and then we've got Teddy is sleeping, etc. Okay, and then we've got activities to phrase, match, things like this. So there's cards where this is blank, and you're just going to pop that on it. Okay, so there's lots of activities in there. I'm not going to go into too much detail because I want to keep this short. Okay, so you're using the vocabulary from the first one. We've got 6 activities, 42 word key phrases. So a 2-word key phrase is things like Teddy is sleeping. 2 key words in there, Teddy and the sleeping. Okay, cat is drinking, etc. And then the next one brings in, it's a bit more vocabulary, the next 60 words. And the next phrases 1 is using that in some sort of basic books, and then in third one along, and then again. So it sort of builds up. And then there are also some apps to reinforce this. Okay, so we've got the dog is swimming, and we're going to phrase, picture, match that. Okay, that's us done for the first video.